is All Saints' Day. This is the day we celebrate the lives of special people who have enriched our lives. And like Lucy, we might sigh and say, "It's a mystery, Charlie Brown. What is a saint anyway?" And Charlie Brown might answer, "Well, a saint is someone who is kind, who does not smoke, who is prompt, who smiles a lot, eats sensibly, avoids cavities, and marks their ballot carefully, avoids too much sun, sends overseas packages early, loves all creatures above and below." Is that your definition of a saint? A nice person who abides by all the rules? Francis of Assisi bears the title of saint, but according to Mark Galli, in an article in Christianity Today, Francis was not always a nice guy to be around. For example, he had this thing about money. His friars were not to touch it, and it did not mean you can touch the money but just don't let it grip your heart stuff. One day, a worshipper at the Church of St. Mary of the Portiuncula, Francis's headquarters, left a coin as an offering at the base of the sanctuary cross. This was a common offering of gratitude to God in that day. But when one of Francis's friars saw the money, disturbed by its presence at the cross, or perhaps knowing Francis's revulsion of money, he tossed it over to a windowsill. When Francis learned the friar had touched money, he did not take the errant brother aside, explain his point of view, and then hug him so as to be sure there were no hard feelings. Instead, Francis rebuked and upbraided the brother. He then commanded him to lift the money from the windowsill with his lips, find a pile of a donkey dung outside, and with his lips place the coin in the pile. Was that nice? How could a saint be so nasty? Is he an exception to the larger guild of saints? Actually, when compared to the hundreds of stories of saints that can be culled from the Bible and the church history, Francis was merely fulfilling his job description. First, true saints are never shrinking violets. They are people of action and conviction. They are people who paint outside the lines of accepted practice. They are people who make a lasting impact on the time in which they serve. Let's give some thought to sainthood and determine what kind of people we would need to be if we were to qualify. First of all, sainthood is a lifestyle. It is an alternative lifestyle, we might say. Saints are people who take the teachings of Jesus seriously. Consider our lesson from Matthew's Gospel, the so-called Beatitudes. Blessed are the merciful, blessed are the peacemakers, blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, blessed are those who are persecuted for my name's sake. There is nothing here about financial security, nothing about classy clothes, nothing about driving the best car, none of the things the world seeks after. Saints are people who march to a different drummer, people who dare to be different. Saints are people we look up to. They are people of integrity who will stand their ground regardless of a standard the world may set. Well, though his name might not be well known today, in 1972 and 73, Stan Smith was known throughout the world for being the best of the best in the world of tennis. But many of those who knew his athletic prowess were unaware that Stan Smith was also a Christian, a gracious, friendly man, and a person of integrity. Stan Smith was good friends with another man of great character and integrity, Arthur Ashe. One year, Arthur and Stan were competing against one another in the World Champion of Tennis competition. The winner would gain instant fame and a great deal of money. The two men were well matched in skill, and the score was tied at match point. Arthur hit a very tricky drop shot that just barely cleared the net. To the crowd's amazement, Stan caught the shot and returned it in time, winning the game. But the umpires were not convinced that Stan had hit a legitimate shot. If the ball were up, still in play, then Stan won the match. But if the ball had bounced twice before Stan reached it, then his hit was illegitimate and Arthur won the match. The angle and nature of the shot made it almost impossible to see it clearly. Review of the videotape did not provide a conclusive answer. Neither the umpire nor Arthur Ashe had a clear view of the ball. According to the rules of tennis, the umpire asked Stan if the ball had been up when he hit it. He replied that it had been. Stan won. A minor controversy arose over this matter, and Arthur Ashe was asked many times why he had not contested the call in some way. Arthur answered, "If Stan says it was up, it was up." He believed in the integrity of his friend so much that he trusted his honesty in a close situation. As far as I know, Stan Smith is not a candidate for sainthood, but he did bear one of the characteristics. His words and actions were one. Sainthood is a lifestyle. Sainthood is also a living testimony, a testimony to Christ's place and His presence in our lives. According to reports from the Associated Press, one of the best-selling items in the religious bookstores is a simple nylon bracelet with the letters WWJD embroidered on the fabric. Many stores are selling as many as 2,000 bracelets a week. The 100-rupee bracelet are in such demand that their creators are scrambling to handle the demand. What does WWJD signify? The simple question, what would Jesus do? This is the question that is constantly on the lips of every saint. What would Jesus do? This is why saints live an alternative lifestyle. They have a different standard for their lives. Their lives are a living testimony to the Lord whose name they bear. Would anyone confuse your life with that of your Lord? Sainthood is a lifestyle. It is a living testimony. And one thing more, sainthood is a legacy to the world. That is, saints have only one reason for walking this earth, that when they have finished their sojourn, the world will be a better place because they have been here. Anthony de Mello, in one of his books, tells of such a man. According to his story, the man was so godly that even the angels rejoiced at the sight of him. But in spite of his great holiness, he had no notion that he was holy. He just went about his humdrum tasks, diffusing goodness the way flowers unself-consciously diffuse their fragrance and streetlights their glow. His holiness lay in this, that he forgot each person's past and looked at them as they were now. And he looked beyond each person's appearance to the very center of their being, where they were, innocent and blameless, and too ignorant to know what they were doing. Thus he loved and forgave everyone he met, and he saw nothing extraordinary in this, for it was the result of his way of looking at people. One day an angel said to him, "I have been sent to you by God. Ask for anything you wish, and it will be given to you. Would you wish to have the gift of healing?" "No," said the man. "I'd rather God did the healing Himself." "All right, would you want to bring sinners back to the path of righteousness?" "No," he said. "It is not for me to touch human hearts. That is the work of angels." "Well, would you like to be such a model of virtue that people will be drawn to imitate you?" "No," said the saint, "for that would make me the center of attention." "Well, what then do you wish for?" asked the angel. "The grace of God," was the man's reply. "Having that, I have all I desire." "No," said the angel, "you must ask for some miracle, or one will be forced on you." "Well then, I shall ask for this: let good be done through me without my being aware of it." So it was decreed that the holy man's shadow would be endowed with healing properties whenever it fell behind him. So, everywhere his shadow fell, provided he had his back to it, the sick were healed, the land became fertile, fountains sprang to life, and color returned to the faces of those who were weighed down by life's sorrow. But the saint knew nothing of this, because the attention of the people was so centered on the shadow that they forgot about the man. And so his wish that good be done through him and be forgotten was abundantly fulfilled. This is the saint's reason for living, that the world be a better place because he or she has been here. So what is sainthood? Sainthood is a lifestyle. Sainthood is a living testimony to Christ's presence in the world. And sainthood is a legacy by which the world becomes a better place. And what has this to do with you and me? Just this: every follower of Jesus is called to sainthood. We are called to live merciful lives, peacemaking lives of integrity and justice and generosity. We may not wear the bracelet that says WWJD, but that is to be our credo. What would Jesus do? And we are to leave the world a better place because we have been here. May Jesus Christ be praised.